new venture. You posted a teaser video. What is this establishment?
It's honestly been on my mind for a long time. I think kind of just everything going on right now. People need a place to go and just let loose and kind of people watch and feel cute.
So that first show, Cutthroat Kitchen 2013, you opened Cure shortly after.
I remember getting a call after my first Food Network appearance. They reached out to me and said, can you come do a walkthrough of the former Four space? And I was like, oh, I can't. I really can't. I'm in this Seaport Fish. It's going pretty well. And they said, just do a walkthrough. And this is how these people always get me. I go in, I see these spaces, I see the opportunity, and I'm like, fine, I'll sign on the dotted line. So we ended up signing the lease and I moved into Cure, in 2014.
Hey friends, Troy Farkas here. This episode marks the beginning of Season 5. And starting today, we're turning the Seacoast Stories brand into more than a podcast. We're on our way to becoming a full-blown 21st century media organization, complete with more impact, more events, more staff, and more stories. To help us get there, I have one simple ask. Press the follow button on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Simple gestures like that go a long way toward helping us achieve our vision of bringing the Seacoast closer together, one podcast at a time. Thank you so much for being here today. Now on to the episode. It is my honor to welcome the owner and executive chef at Cure Restaurant in downtown Portsmouth, the co-owner of Emerald Elevation, a chef-crafted cannabis edibles company based in Maine, a mother of two, a Lighthouse Credit Union board member, and also the owner of a brand new restaurant coming soon to Portsmouth. More on that later. The great Julie Cutting-Kelley is here on Seacoast Stories, making her debut. Julie, welcome to the show. I want to go back to the very beginning of the Julie Cutting-Kelley story. I've heard you say before that you had, quote, a troubled childhood. And when I hear those words, I have to know more about what you mean by that.
Sure, for sure. So I grew up super happy child, got meningitis around 10 years old, actually almost died. Like I went into my primary care. I got sick on a Friday, went into the primary care on a Monday, and he took one look at me and he was like, she needs to go to Portsmouth Hospital immediately. Like instant spinal tap, was in the hospital for 2 weeks, had to do in-home IVs and treatments after that. And then basically, as a kid, you're so resilient, like you really don't notice like what's kind of going on. But then, your body takes a toll. I was on steroids for a while to overcome it was a bacterial meningitis with Haemophilus influenza. So it was very intense. So going into 6th grade, had a little bit of weight gain and just felt really uncomfortable in my own skin, and kind of moving through junior high, I found myself ADHD, like all the greats. So a little hyper, and ended up kind of running into a friend group that was a really strong friend group, but then kind of, took me aside and told me they didn't want to be friends with me anymore overnight. And that really caused a major shift in my personality, which led into, going down a road of, sometimes different substances and things like that. So.
Well, I'd say they missed out on not being friends with you because you're crushing it. And I'm sure they tried to crawl back into your life, seeing all the success you've had. Now, stupid question, meningitis. I feel like this is one of those things that, oh yeah, I know what that is, but actually, what is meningitis?
Well, it's a communicable disease that, either children or college students will get, and it really affects the spinal cord and the brain. So I lost hearing. I only still have to this day about 60% hearing in this ear, equilibrium problems. So yeah, it was a long road to recovery, but it's funny because as I kind of went through that last kind of 8th grade year, getting a little suspended, at the dance for going through the parents' liquor cabinet, and then into into high school, trying cannabis. I remember being pulled into the principal's office, and he really cared for me deeply, Dr. Ward, and said, Julie Cutting, this is no way to make a life for yourself. You've got a bright future, and drugs and alcohol are not going to be what gets you forward. And I really laughed because I own a very successful cannabis company as well as a very successsul bar and lounge. So, sorry, Dr. Ward, but you were incorrect, actually.
Now, as you've alluded to, you are a Seacoast kid. Now, what were the hangout spots when you and your friends were getting into trouble? Like, where were you smoking? Where were you hanging out where you shouldn't have been?
Oh, my goodness. Well, York Beach, of course. That makes for the best burn run up at Nubble Light. Let's be honest.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. You got to know how to, go up the mountain road to get to the other side of Southbrook. My dad graduated Portsmouth High School. My mother graduated Marshwood. We lived in Portsmouth on Sparhawk Street till I was about 4. And then we moved over to South Berwick. So born and raised there and still currently live there. So got some really strong Seacoast roots.
So throughout all these years, in your childhood, was food a big part of your family dynamic?
For sure. I do speak a lot on kind of being that 80s, 90 kid where it's like, right now, my children are signed up for both summer camps. They're going to Water Country, Canopy Lake Park. My summers were Price is Right, follows into Days of Our Lives, followed by folding laundry and making sure that the pool was skimmed by the time my parents got home. So there was a lot of, Capri Suns and, little freezer pizzas. So I'm very passionate on, clean eating now and just making sure that the food that we put into our bodies is really smart. And a big part of that came from my grandfather. And he actually worked at the shipyard as a diver for years. And when he retired, he moved out to Pittsfield, New Hampshire, and had a huge farm on his property. So we would spend at least 2 to 3 weeks summer going and helping to pick the strawberries and green beans. And then I would go inside with my French grandmother and we would pickle those and make tarts and all kinds of baked goods. And it was also surrounded by Black Angus cattle. So I kind of got to see, livestock there. And one of my favorite stories to tell is across the street was a pig farmer. And one afternoon, Grandpa said, "Do you want to take a walk over to Lenny's?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely. I want to go see Lenny and the chickens and the pigs." And it was slaughter day. And my 2 other sisters go over in our little dresses and we're looking and hanging there is Wilbur, basically. And they're in tears and they go running back to the house. And I was like, my Hannibal Lecter, show me more. Like, I want to see what's inside that pig. So at that point, I kind of knew that butchery and those kind of items would be important to me moving down the line.
Wow. Okay. So as a kid, you had a premonition that you might end up in this field.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So did you ever have any dreams of wanting to go into any other field? Was it always food industry?
I was such an outdoor kid. Like, we had a tree house and I'd be out there like jumping on the rocks, playing like Bridge to Terabithia, like whatever my imagination could create, while my sister was inside using like the Betty Crocker easy bake oven. So it was really funny when I got older and I went into business school, and I think I did about 2 semesters, and I was in stock trading class, and I was like my mind does not work in this way. And I saw the culinary students coming out of York County Community College with their hats and their jackets and their toolboxes. And I called my dad on my flip phone and I said, "Yeah, I don't think I want to study the NASTech. I really want to do what they're doing." And he was like, "Okay, I just want you out of my in-law apartment." And so basically went right over to the kitchen store, put myself together a little knife roll, and enrolled that next Monday.
At York or at Le Cordon Bleu?
At York first.
Okay.
Yep. York was my very first introductory to professional cooking under Chef Hebert, Norm Hebert, who owned Hebert's in Agunquit for a long time. So we moved very quickly in that program. It was like 1 day of butchery, 1 day soups and sauces, 1 day baking and pastry. And I can remember getting to the practical, and I opened up the mystery basket. I think I was like 21 and, still drinking at the time, which I'm almost 6 years sober now. And I said, "Nope, that's it. I'm out of here." And my mentor, who was to become my mentor, Jody Hollahan, said, "Excuse me, where are you going?" And I said, "I'm out of here. I'm done." She's like, "Why?" I said, "I do not know what that is. I do not know what that is." She's like, well, that's a pork loin. I was like, it could have been venison for all I know. Like, I've got no idea. So she's like, well, we're going to trim it. And, those are shrimp. And I was like, I gathered that. And there was a kiwi in there. So whipped up a little kiwi cocktail sauce as an appetizer, went ahead and, did the pork. She helped me to make a slurry to make a nice little pan sauce and finish the practical. So that was a very pivotal moment for me, as I could have walked out and thrown my hands up and, gone a different direction. But at the end, she throws on her leopard jacket. And I remember looking at this woman being like, wow, she is just so cool and so powerful as this female chef. And she said, you're coming to me to Le Cordon Bleu. We're going to transfer your credits and we're going to get you in there. So about 2 weeks later, I transferred everything over to Le Cordon Bleu.
Wow. Which no longer exists, but was the culinary school in Dover, right?
Yes.
Right. And Evan Hennessy, Seacoast Stories alum, I know he studied there as well.
Yeah, I think
pretty reputable
Ben Hasty,
school, right?
Yeah, a lot of us Seacoast chefs, that's our alma mater. So yeah, I graduated in 2006. So it's actually really funny because I have a diploma hanging in my office, and it was August 26th of 2006. So we're shooting actually for a segue. We're shooting for the new venture for right around then. So I think it'd be pretty special if we could open basically 20 years to the date of graduating from culinary school.
That would be very cool. Well, you team me up. So let's talk about it. New venture. You posted a teaser video a few days ago on social media of you going up to the door of what is to be a new establishment.
Yeah.
What is this establishment?
Oh my goodness. So excited. So for years, I've owned Cure now for 13 years. It'll be 14 in January. And I've had opportunities along the way to do different things. I thought maybe about like a lunch restaurant at one point. And then I opened my cannabis company about 3 years ago and poured my heart and soul into that. And I have a regular who eats at Cure every Thursday night at 5:00. And for 2 years, he's been telling me, I've got a new place and I'm really excited about it. I was like, I love that for you. Congratulations for you. Like, if you want me to consult, I can do that for you. And I did a walkthrough about 8 months ago, and it's like going to see a puppy at the ASPCA. I was like, okay, I want it. This is mine. So it's been about 8 months of development and floor plan design. And it's very unique. It's going to be very cool. We are not going to have any gas in the building. So it's going to be all induction, electric, and wood burning. So the concept itself, his name is Char. So a nice play off Cure. So it's going to be a sister restaurant. It's going to be an elevated steakhouse. You're going to walk in. We've got a nice lower level floor. We'll have a little piano bar, be greeted by our wonderful wait staff, lower lounge area. So, if you just want to come in and grab some, a quick cocktail, a quick little bite, some caviar, join us at the lower bar. But then you'll be transported up a beautiful spiral staircase, and there is going to be a showcase kitchen where I will be cooking 5, 6, 7 nights a week, basically running the wood burning grill. So we have an 8-foot wood burning grill where we will feature high-end cuts of meat, fresh seafood, lots of fun appetizers. But I really want to make sure that there's something for everybody. So we'll have different, things. I'm well known for my meatloaf that I did on the menu at Cure for lunch a while ago. I get asked about that often. We'll be bringing that over there. We'll have an upper level bar that feeds into the dining room, which will then end with a 12-person wine room. And in the back will be a big function room. It can be divided into 2 functions or 1 large function as well.
Wow. That's a lot. This sounds like a pretty big space.
It is.
Okay. Downtown Portsmouth, right? What's the location?
It is over by the train tracks, right down by the Foundry Garage.
Awesome. All right. So this concept, 8 months ago was when you guys really started putting the plan in place. The specific plan that you just laid out, how long has something like this been circulating in the back of your mind?
It's honestly been on my mind for a long time. My favorite way to cook is grilling. That's what I do at home all the time. It's people's favorite question is, what's your least favorite dish to cook and what's your favorite? And I absolutely love steak tips on the grill. I love New England style, just potato salad and corn on the cob. But this is something that's going to push me, honestly. I've never worked with induction other than at the Cannabis Kitchen. We do use that. But this will be really exciting for me. The wood burning is going to be, a new skill set that I'm going to master, as well as people come in and now they're frequently asking me, like, how come you're not in the kitchen as much? And so I'll actually be able to orchestrate the line as well as engage with guests too.
So this showcase kitchen mean you're on display?
Yes.
Okay. You're
yes.
literally showcasing what you're doing?
Yes. It's going to kind of be like the Gordon Ramsay's Hell Kitchen meets the, is it the Madonna in the shell or the I don't know what it is, but that's kind of my whimsical way. I told you I was a kid growing up in the woods.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of theatrics that come with me, but yeah, definitely. I want to be that orchestrator. I think at the beginning, I want to master that grill. So you will see me sweating and probably burning arm hair off on the charcoal, but it's going to be really exciting. There's going to be a lot of vibes from the piano experience downstairs, walking up the stairs into the main dining room, having a birthday party or a special function in the wine room or executive dinner in the main function room as well.
How many seats do you anticipate will be in the restaurant?
Down in the lower, we're looking about 40. In the upper dining room, we're looking about 80. And then including the two function rooms, one will be about 50 and one will be about 40 with a partition in the center that can be open to accommodate about 90.
How many seats are at Cure?
Cure has 40 in the winter and 60 in the summer.
Wow. But you feel fully confident you'll be able to scale out everything to be able to serve.
I do. I have thought long and hard about each kitchen, what it's going to be doing, the prep ability that we're going to have in the morning hours to stock up for the dinner services. And over the years, I've just been collecting chefs. I've had some really, really talented people throughout the Seacoast that have come to work. And I'm just so blessed that a lot of people that have worked for me have been with me for basically the full 13 years, if not, somewhere up to 9. So there's been people that have wanted to move up, but in such a small space, it's hard to, promote from within. So we've kind of left it as like, this isn't goodbye, this is see you later. And now it's kind of reuniting.
Amazing. And I want to ask you about some of that staff retention later on, because it's pretty remarkable. But back to Char. How different will the menu be from what you have at Cure? I know you're billing it as a modern steakhouse, and I'm certainly no foodie and do not know the lingo, but I would, in my naive way, describe Cure as a steakhouse.
Sure. Cure, I think I really have always focused on comfort food with like an elevated twist. We're really well known for our duck breast, our lobster mac and cheese, our short rib. This is really going to have different cuts of high-end meat. I'm talking with the best meat purveyors that there are in the market. So we're doing lots of tastings with them right now. But there's going to, like I said, be something for everybody from that really high-end bone-in, dry-aged meat down to, a more petite filet, as well as a burger. And I even mentioned the meatloaf. So a lot of different variety for people. I know that, inflation and things are on people's minds as well. I'm very conscious of that. We'll have a lot of salads with great add-on proteins. But yeah, I also want to push into, using some liquid nitrogen, the plating, I'm looking at different ways to kind of hang the meat from the hooks to have really great tableside presentations for guests. So really pushing the envelope and really pushing myself out of my comfort food realm that I've been in.
Mm. I mean, you already own 2 other businesses and the restaurant business itself is all consuming. It's amazing to me that you want to get another business and to do something that will take you out of your comfort zone when you already have so much to manage on your plate. I would just think just let me open something that I already know like the back of my hand.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I hear that's probably the most common thing. People are like, you're so busy. And I thrive on it as a Leo, as like I've mentioned, kind of that high deficit situation. Creativity is really what drives me growing. I mean, I'm not going to be shy. I'm 43 years old. And I think a lot of times in this industry as a chef, you kind of look to either, maybe slow down, maybe try to find a better quality of life. But I took the time off I have a daughter who's 7.5. I have a son who's 2.5. And I built a great foundation with them. I've got a great team of support at home. And I really, they're excited. I've been talking to them openly about, mom's got this new adventure coming. And they're like, well, can we come and eat there? And I'm like, absolutely, you can. So it's just a balance. It really is of knowing what the task is for the day, getting up every day, excited about it. And just having that kind of three-legged stool of work, family, health, making sure that I'm paying attention to all of those things. And, I just don't really feel that overwhelmed. I took the time off to do the cannabis industry, and, I feel reinvigorated as a chef to jump back in and learn myself.
Right. And because your staff has been with you for so long at Cure, it is, I suppose, a well-oiled machine without you, so that you can be free to go do these other things.
Yes. I have a very trusted team there. We collaborate, we communicate often. We've got weekly meetings as well as group text messages that we, keep tight tabs on. But I'm still very involved as well. I still, help write a majority of the menus from the seasonal ones to restaurant week. But yeah, no, my former head chef was with me for about 9 years. My current head chef's going on 2 years. My front of the house manager, who will be joining me over at Char, you may know her, Kate Smith.
Oh yeah,
fellow podcaster.
Yes, that's right. Yes. She's far more successful than I am.
Ooh, I'll have to tell her you said that. But she will be coming to join the team over there. But we also have a great team with Brian. We have a new person that we're bringing up through the ranks as well. And we're working really hard to, set those SOPs for them and let them know that, Cure is still a main focus of mine. And, I don't plan on bringing any of the signature dishes over to the restaurant. People keep saying, are you going to bring the onion soup? And I'm like, absolutely not. You have to go visit, your besties at Cure to be able to get lobster mac and cheese and the mushroom Forester.
I still need to try that, the lobster mac and cheese.
Oh my goodness.
Cure is the only restaurant that I've ever been to in my entire life where I've looked down the entire menu and I was like, I would eat that. And I'm a picky eater. I'm diabetic, like only restaurant where I would eat everything. And I imagine at Char will be the same way.
Yes.
On that note, do you feel, because Cure is such a beloved restaurant in the town, so many people list it as their favorite restaurant, do you feel pressure to make Char another top tier Portsmouth restaurant that people will?
Oh, absolutely. It's no surprise to anybody that I love, I love doing filming. I've been on Food Network a few times. I've done Cutthroat Kitchen. I did 2 episodes of Chopped with Martha Stewart. I've got some other projects I'm working on. Wink, wink. So I do see this as, something that I'm going to take an extreme amount of pride in. I'm going to be pushing myself with my head chef and my new sous chef on a daily basis to keep the menus fresh, to be using ingredients that we haven't used before, and to really wow through the flavors, the presentation, and just giving people things that they're really going to feel they're going to get a value for. Again, I understand that, dollars need to go far these days, and I want people to feel that with every plate that they get at Char.
Any idea of price points yet for the menu items?
Like I said, I really want a nice range, between, you can get that bone-in, Wagyu, ribeye, which is probably going to run you somewhere around, like, I would assume. I just went down to Abe and Louie's and had dinner in Boston last week. I visited Grill 23. I've got a couple other on my hit list, kind of seeing those around the 115 mark. So if you really want to come in and, and wow an executive from out of town, come in and get that. We'll have it hanging from the hook. We'll have your sharp knife waiting for you. But if you want to, just have something comforting on a Wednesday night, grab the meatloaf with the smoked wood oven mac and cheese. And I'm assuming that would probably be somewhere around like a 25, something like that. So a really good range. Now
the question on everyone's mind, the timeline. When do we think this comes to fruition?
Absolutely. So we are shooting for September 1st. That's right around Labor Day. So kind of joking, a big labor of love around Labor Day.
Okay. I love it. Now, the very first thing that you mentioned about Char was that you said no gas used, and you said it with a sense of pride.
That's correct.
Why is this such a big deal?
Well, a big driving force of this is actually my partner really came up through being a nuclear engineer and focusing on clean energy. He switched a lot of city transportation, buses and whatnot to clean energy. So it's something he's very passionate about. I mean, just with everything going on in the environment, it's something that I'm really excited for as well. I'm still looking for a wood supplier. So I'm looking for a sustainable person that I can, partner with on that. But all the electric utilities that have been put in, a lot of them can be run off car batteries as well. So we're really proud of that footprint. But yeah, I think just being conscious, especially seeing it's going to be a steakhouse and, agriculturally, that's, got a footprint. We wanted to make sure that on our end, we're doing as much as we can to be sustainable.
And is that rare in the Portsmouth restaurant scene?
I would think so. I know it's not in New York. I think that's actually becoming a standard. I don't know that they're really allowing gas in kitchens in New York City is what I'm hearing. So it's something that's not, a revolutionary. But as I'm starting to kind of ask around, I believe that Evan does it over at his kitchen at Stages.
Yeah, in Dover.
Yeah. But I don't know too many people that are going full induction.
Well, look at you. Never want to back down from a challenge. Cure is 7 days a week. What's the plan for Char?
We are aiming for 7 as well. We are shooting for lunch also a few days a week. Basically, the concepts from the lower level and the upper level will be different. Some of the menu items will carry over. Some will be a lighter fare. But we are focusing on doing lunch, probably about 5 to start. And I do believe we will be offering some to go with that as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we want to be able to service all of the businesses that are going in around that kind of foundry area. So we see a really big need there that we'd like to service.
Any outdoor seating or completely indoor?
I don't think at this point. I think there's so many wonderful options down on the waterfront for, the outdoor seating. I've got the lovely garden patio at Cure.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with what we're doing in there with the kind of outdoorsy theme, I think, if it gets hot here in Portsmouth now. So come in the air conditioning, get yourself a shaken, crafted cocktail. We're going to have the bar program is being highly looked at. Again, pushing to really do some fun out of the box cocktails, a great wine list. So the libations are going to be just as special.
Amazing. Now, the piano bar, what exactly will this entail? What do you mean by that?
So that's still kind of developing. The floor plan we've been reworking over and over and over again. We want to make sure that we have, a firm strategic plan for all the tables that are going to be in there. So the kitchens are going to be broken up between the back prep kitchen and then the main kitchen and then the lower pantry as well that will service down there. So I feel that we will have a nice kind of mellow local person, playing some tunes. And then I would love to even get like a solo kind of singer in there. I've got a bestie who does a great job. So shout out to Nashira. Maybe we'll get her and Soul Color in there at some point. But yeah, just a really kind of swanky lounge feel down there to, complement the lighter menu that'll be in the lower lounge.
So we're aiming for beginning of September. What is one message you would like to leave the people of the Seacoast regarding Char and why they should be excited about it?
Absolutely. The energy when you walk in, I think kind of just everything going on right now. People need a place to go and just let loose and kind of people watch and feel cute. And when you walk in, like I said, you're going to be greeted with a big smiling hostess, our front of the house team that's going to be trained very well. You're going to have that piano bar, with that soothing music. And then you're going to come up those spiral staircase into kind of Oz. You'll see the flames flickering. You'll see me running the ship. The first level bar will be shaking. And then as you go into the back dining room, it's going to be more developed into a organic kind of feel. We're leaning into more of a New Hampshire kind of woodsy kind of vibe. And then into the wine room is going to be a lot of elegance as well. So I think every corner of Char is going to give you a different experience.
Living here on the Seacoast, we all like to think that we've got things figured out. But things can happen. Whether you're grabbing coffee in downtown Portsmouth, heading out to the beach in Rye, or just trying to survive another New England winter, unexpected circumstances can arise at any time. And when life really happens, I'm talking a big car accident, some big problem at home, do you really want to be stuck asking to speak to a representative at some giant corporate insurance company? Of course not. That's why I'm a fan of what Portsmouth's own Avery Insurance is doing. They've been family owned and operated locally since 1899, which means that they've been around as long as those pipes running underneath Islington Street. Or didn't they just replace those? I don't ever know what's going on. Avery is an independent agency, which means they shop across multiple carriers to find you the best coverage at the best price. Whether you're looking for personal insurance, protecting your business, or you're a local entrepreneur building something from scratch, Avery has the expertise to help. They're deeply invested in our Seacoast community. They genuinely care. They hire local, they support local nonprofits and shows like Seacoast Stories. You can learn more by visiting averyinsurance.net. If you live on the Seacoast, you know we are fiercely proud of two things: our scenery and the ability to mind our own business, which is why we all want big, beautiful windows letting in that coastal light. Think Venice Beach at golden hour kind of vibes. But we do not want our neighbors watching us like it's people watching at the Friendly Toast on a Sunday morning. That's where Budget Blinds of the Seacoast comes in. They're local, they come right to your home, and they save you from spending an entire Saturday at Lowe's in Newington arguing with yourself over shades that you don't even understand. Whether you're in a Portsmouth condo, a Dover colonial, or a Maine beach house where the sun hits harder than an ice cream cone at Lagos, Budget Blinds helps you control the light, the privacy, and the vibe. Custom blinds, shades, and shutters, professionally installed, priced reasonably, and done right the first time. For more details, just visit the link in the show notes. You obviously have so much restaurant experience coming up on 20 years. And in your past, prior to opening Cure, you worked at, as I've written down on a napkin here, which I think is apropos, you worked at places that I've never heard of. Barrazzo,
yes,
the Front Room, the Green Monkey, and Seaport Fish.
That's correct.
Among more, I'm sure. Which one of these is like most fondly remembered on the Seacoast? Because I hear from everyone, oh, Portsmouth was so great when the Elvis Room was around and when the Red Door was around. And so I'm just, take me back.
No, absolutely. Let's time travel. Should we go to the Danish Health Club too, or should we just skip that?
Sure.
But,
take me to the page and to breaking new grounds.
Well, Friendly Toast and the Danish Health Club were connected. So if you know, you know.
What is the Danish Health Club?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a massage parlor over by the Route 1 traffic circle, but we'll skip that for now. Yes, absolutely. So right out of culinary school, I had the option to go down to Disney and work down at the Liberty Tree Tavern, serving either turkey legs or going up to Portland and working up in that food scene. And I chose that. So I got a job right out of culinary school working under Harding Lee Smith, who I saw him a couple years ago and he's like, you know, I have Google alerts on my name, right? So anytime that you mention me, I know. So shout out to Harding.
You can do that?
I guess so. He's very sneaky. So shout out to him. I mean, he was nicknamed the devil in the kitchen in the Portland Press Herald a few years after I finished working with him. But I found him to, you know, push me as far as everybody loves to ask, what's it like being a female in the restaurant industry? And I've always found, you know, just like anything else, if you lay your cutting board down and you push as hard as you can and you put out great food, like, you're worth your salt. So working under him was a great experience. It kind of developed my love for comfort food. I came down here and actually worked at the Dunaway for a little bit. I interviewed with Mary Dumont. I came down and Ben Hasty was in charge at the time. So we spent a little bit of time together and then went over to the Green Monkey where I worked with Deb and Phelps. And that was a lot of fun.
And that was in Kittery?
No, that was right down on Pleasant Street.
Green Monkey was in Portsmouth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It was where Louis was before the fire.
There was, the OG Louis.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, exactly. So I worked for them. And then, they opened Brazo across the street, which was their sister restaurant. Brazo actually meant, correct me if I'm wrong, but an extension of. So I believe they called it that as meaning like an arm of the Green Monkey. So I actually just moved across the street, started with her as the sous chef there, and then moved into the executive chef role. And I was there for about 5 years, and we had a lot of fun. There was a lot of Latin nights that were happening and a lot of dancing. And after that, I did move over to Seaport Fish and Kittery, which is directly next to the Golden Harvest and Beach P. Sits back a little bit. So I was there for 6 months, and Richie's a dear friend of mine. We had a great thing going there. We were doing, that's actually where the lobster bisque recipe was developed that we have on the menu and have had since Cure opened. So the lobster bisque I developed there. And I remember getting a call after my first Food Network appearance from the owner of the building. She had just gotten divorced at the time and was looking to sell the building. So she wanted something to go in there. And they reached out to me and said, can you come do a walkthrough of the former Four space? And I was like, oh, I can't. I really can't. I'm in this Seaport Fish. It's going pretty well. And they said, just do a walkthrough. And this is how these people always get me, because I try to say no. I go in, I see these spaces, I see the opportunity, and I'm like, fine, I'll sign on the dotted line. So we ended up signing the lease not too shortly after, and I moved into Cure, in 2014.
Now, had you let it be known that you were considering or wanting your own place?
Yeah, I had actually looked at, it's now Bennett's Sandwich Shop, but before that it was a pizza place. I can't remember exactly. I wanted to do kind of like a duck fat concept there. Like they have at Portland. I wanted to do like some really great kind of handheld sandwiches that, would be like some great French dips and things like that with like a nice, kind of duck fat fry. But just the way that the lease was working out, it wasn't a good fit. I looked at a couple different spaces. I remember looking, over down where the office lounge was. Now it's Jonesy and Carrie. They've got, Sopo. Southport Kitchen, I think.
And Rye, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. They're doing a great job too.
Place.
I love it. So I've eaten there 2-3 times so far, and it's been wonderful every time.
What's your favorite Seacoast restaurant? Are you allowed to say, or will you create enemies?
Yes, I'm actually going to try to go to Louis probably tomorrow night. I keep trying to make it, but love Massimo, obviously. Yeah. Oh my gosh, he's a dear friend of mine. Like it's a hop, skip, and a jump. So I go over there quite often. John from Cava, like near and dear to my heart. We were on the restaurant week committee together. John, Massimo and I planned the Little Italy 400 Carnival. So spent a lot of time together during that. I was a huge fan of Thistle Pig. So I got to get over to Catbird soon. Really excited. That's right in South Berwick where I live. Okay. So I'm hearing great things about them. But I definitely love, Cava, Massimo. And I think there's a lot of people that are coming out with some cool stuff. I'm hearing great things about Choppy Sticks too.
People love Choppy Sticks, which thank God, because that spot where it is was cursed.
Sure. That makes
so hopefully they've got to figure it out by now.
That makes a lot of sense. So I got a few places on my hit list for sure.
So 2013, this is a year before Cure opens. You get a call to go on a Food Network show.
Yes.
Cutthroat Kitchen. First season you were on. When you got that call, what do you remember feeling? Because you're late 20s, 30 at this point. Yep. You're well into your culinary career, but obviously many things have changed since then.
You're nailing it. So I remember the interview process. They just kept hammering like, how cutthroat are you? And I just remember being like, oh, I steal towels. Like, if you leave your tongue on the stove, like it's not going to be there when you get back. And they're like, anything else? I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like put someone's hand in the fry later? Like, this is not my vibe. So I get out there and they're like, it's Alton Brown. And I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be like Iron Chef. This is going to be like Top Chef. Like I am here. I've arrived. And I literally get there and they're like, okay, so how would you feel about like cooking while jumping on a trampoline, like in a sumo suit? And I was like, not very good. So basically I was the first season. I think my episode was episode 3, Let Them Eat Cupcakes. And They literally kind of like called me like the culinary Barbie, which I thought was nice at the time. I'm like, you guys are flying me under the radar. Like, this is a good place to be because you're all going to underestimate me. And the first round, the chef next to me, they took away his knife. So he had to cut with a top of a tomato can. And so that was intriguing. I flew under the radar till the next round where we had to make the cupcakes, where they basically froze me for 10 minutes. So I watched the cupcakes just completely boil over and burn. And Alton Brown's in my ear going, yeah, I don't think that's supposed to look like that. And I was like, well, no shit, Alton. So restarted those. And essentially you have to memorize everything. Like, people ask all the time, like, is it really the way that it is? Is the time limit really what it is? Well, I'm here to say it is. You do not get extra time. When the buzzer's up, your hands are up, you're done. So I whipped up some new cupcakes and I'm just like throwing stuff in there, like literally like easy bake oven. And that's exactly what Simon Munjar said, was that it was an easy bake oven cupcake, good, but just not in a nostalgic kind of way. And I was mad. I was like, this is a beautiful cupcake. It is iced with a white ganache and pistachio crumble. I grabbed one on the way out and I'm riding back to the hotel. And I remember tasting, like I bit one before I left and I'm like in there, I'm like, this is straight up baking soda. It was so metallic. I was like, fine. But you know what? For 2 years, we had the cupcake on the menu at Cure and everybody that came to the window was like, you were robbed. You should have won. And I was like, absolutely. Even though I knew that like it had way too much baking soda. Yeah. But honestly, for me, it's all about the theatrics. I would love to have my own Food Network show or some kind of local show down the road. So, manifest, put it out there in the universe and see what comes back.
How did they even find you back in 2013?
Oh my goodness. They called me. Actually, shout out to Lee Frank. Lee had gone and interviewed for this and they asked him if he knew any female chefs. And he's like, I do have one for you. And so he texted me because Lee and I worked at Brazo before he went over to Arrows. And he said, they're going to be calling you. And I was like, okay. And he like messaged me a few days later and he's like, did you talk to them? Did you follow up? And I was like, no, not really. And then we had to actually Skype. It was that far back. And they were like, let's get you on. So they flew me out. And same thing with all the other ones for Martha Stewart and the other opportunities. Yeah, they've seeked me out every time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So that first show, Cutthroat Kitchen, 2013, you opened Cure shortly after. What was the original vision that you had for the restaurant?
Yeah, I wanted it to have like an industrial feel. I really wanted it to be kind of an homage to my grandfather, to those days back in Pittsfield, to the, the garden and the Black Angus farm. And also I was just so taken by the comfort food that I trained up in Portland with. So I love onion soup. Like every time I go someplace, I have to get it. So I knew that had to go on there. And I love a short rib. So I knew that had to go on there. And I toyed around with the duck breast for a little bit. The first duck I ever had came to me in a dream. It had a polenta, creamy polenta with like a blueberry sauce. I don't know if the clouds were made of polenta or whatnot. But it was really cool. I woke up just with that dish. And then I went to a food show and I saw the black rice and I was like, let's try this. And it's a cult favorite now at this point. I try to change it every couple menu meetings and I go to, the staff, I go to the front of the house and they're like, please don't do it. We're going to get emails. We're going to get calls. Just keep it the same. So that's the only thing that remains the same on the menu is this pan-seared duck breast.
How much has it changed through the 12 years?
Yeah. I mean, structurally, it's really hard with that building because it was the mustard seed before. And if you trace its heritage going back, it was a barber shop. It burned down in the great fires of Portsmouth. So
what is up with this? Has been a recurring theme. How many businesses have burned down in Portsmouth?
Well, there was the great fire of, I don't want to quote a year, but it was, in the historic times. And so that's why a lot of it is all brick. And actually our back dining room, next time you're in there, look and see that the two French doors that connect, that was actually a promenade that led out to the Piscataqua Savings Loop. So people would take the horse and carriages through there and kind of promenade through to get back to State Street. So you can literally see in the back dining room, that it is a wall to that room, which I believe at one point it wasn't the town hall. That was the next building down. But it was also, I believe, like a government building. So they just connected two French doors with two panes of glass and gave us a back dining room. So it's a little tough. People come in and they're like, oh, it's in front of the kitchen, but every seat at Cure is special. It has its own unique property. Over the years, I would definitely say, we upgrade with painting. We just got all new tables and chairs. We're always improving plateware. The back patio, we just completely redid, with the landscaping, with new tables and chairs as well. So we're always trying to reinvest and keep her fresh.
Right. And I'm sure you had to adapt and change and evolve as everyone else did during the pandemic. But to be honest, I'm kind of tired of talking about the pandemic.
Sure.
So we can just act like that never happened. I know we talked a little bit about the old days of the Portsmouth restaurant scene. Do you know, when did Portsmouth really become an actual foodie destination? When did really great restaurants start popping up here?
I think it was really kind of during that time when I was graduating. I mean, like I said, the Green Monkey was just like popping off. People loved the little wontons that they were doing there. You had 43 Degrees North across the street. You had the Dunaway, which again, I think was Mary, and then Ben, which was really kind of unique. I think a lot of people were opening things at that time. So probably right around like the early 2000s into now.
Wow. And as you said, you have had a number of staff stay with you for a long haul, which is pretty incredible in this industry. What do you attribute that to?
I really try to focus on quality of life. Most of the staff, if not all, is a 4-day work week. So we do 4 10-hour days. So they're able to get their full 40 and have that extra day off to themselves. So we really pride ourselves on that. I try to change the menu as frequently as possible. So we're not, kind of staying stagnant on the same things that we're putting out day after day. I think it's the communication. I think it's the weekly meetings. I think it's really checking reviews and checking in with our guests and making sure that they're happy. And I think it starts with me. I really do. I think the buck starts with my attitude and going in there every day, excited for what we're doing. Even though I have been doing it for so long, I still go in there with the passion and the aspiration. And I really just try to include them into, menu ideas and front of the house ideas. I mean, even just like I just had a new person kind of have some input on some artwork that we redid in one of the rooms. So just that collaboration, making people feel empowered and making them feel like they're part of something.
The first thing that you said caught my attention. I know physical health and mental health is important to you.
Sure.
So why was it so important to you to make sure that they have a 4-day work week?
Yeah, I mean, burnout is such, a factor in this industry. It can be all consuming. We also try to have like a rule of like, if it's someone's day off, like kind of try to give them that respect and that balance. If it's, I can't get the printer to work to print menus. Like, can we figure that out on our own? Do we really need to call Kate? Same thing, in the kitchen. Like if it's something that didn't show up, from a purveyor, like, can we run over to Golden Harvest and get it? Is it really that big of a deal? Really taking stock in problem solving. But the burnout, I mean, obviously alcoholism runs rampant. So trying to get people that as I call it, that 3-legged stool, that work where you feel pride, but spending time with your family and having enough time to go do something that makes you feel special. I mean, recently I went and pet a couple horses just to kind of connect, back with nature. And I went to the gym the other day and I was like, I'm not feeling it. I went swimming, like doing a couple laps. I was like, wow, this is, maybe not the intense workout I'm used to, but at least it's moving my body. And it was a really great. So just looking for things that bring you joy that aren't, just humdrum, the same things you're doing day in and day out.
How have you had to stave off burnout through the years? I imagine so many restaurants, so many years, different titles, owning restaurants.
Absolutely. I mean, I got there at one point. I'm not going to lie. I was cooking the line 5 to 6 days a week for 7 years. And then I got to a point where I was like, I know I want to have a family. Like this is my chance. So I basically went to my team and I said, I think I want to move into the front of the house. I think I want to learn that side of it. I've never really worked that aspect of it. So we were able to make some adjustments. So I host a lot now. now. I still do cooking. I'll actually be cooking next Saturday. I'm really excited about that. So when I get back in the kitchen, it's fresh to me. And then getting into this new space, again, touching base on that wood fire grill, induction, these high-end, cuts of meat, using different things to push myself is, I think if you're learning, it's really a lot harder to feel in a rut.
How often are you in the kitchen at Cure now?
I will expo, sometimes once a week, but it's really kind of on an as needed basis at this point. I have a great team. We're fully staffed. I do host once a week. But between the cannabis company and starting this, I'm more in there, like I said, writing menus, meeting with the team, making sure that, everything as far as the restaurant itself is operating, that if we need new menu books, if there is something, we need to order those tables, really focusing on that more as a general manager these days.
Now, I do want to ask you this, and you said earlier that people have always asked you through the years what it's like being a woman
Sure.
in the industry. I'm not going to ask you that, but I do have a lot of women in my life who either currently do work in the service industry or have worked in the service industry, and they've spoke rather poorly of the way that they've been treated through the years and certain experiences that have happened to them, harassment, abuse, verbal, physical, sexual, all of the above. And I'm just wondering if you have had any of those experiences through the years.
Nothing off the top of my head. I think I kind of come off with that kind of confidence of like, I always make this silly joke. I've said it so many times before, but I was a big Bo Jackson fan as a kid. And
Naturally.
so he can do anything, You're really good. So I always kind of say like, don't stand on the tracks when the train's coming through. And I kind of have always had that like behind coming around, like, watch out, here I come. That I don't know that I left a lot of opportunity. If anything, I met my husband working in a kitchen during culinary school. And I would say, if anything, we had probably the most tumultuous relationship that I've ever had with another fellow male coworker.
How so?
It was a 2-person kitchen over at the Shipyard Brew Pub in Elliott. And I would work all day at school in the culinary program. And then I would jet over and work for him at night. And he'd be a person down and waiting for me to get there. And I'd be working fry and salad, and he'd have his burger or saute up, and I'd be responsible for the fries. And he'd be like, you got the fries? Like, let's get it out. Let's sell this ticket. And I'd be like, 2 minutes, chef. And he's like, great. Well, burger's going to be cold, but their fries are going to be nice and hot. I'm sure the customer's going to love that. And I would just look at him and be like, you're such an asshole. And I remember he would offer me rides at home, and I'd be like, nope, rather cross 236 and like get hit by a Mack truck than take a ride home from you.
Okay, so you guys weren't a thing at this point.
No,
Okay.
no, not at all. I think he hates when I tell these stories because I just really was like, you don't respect, what I can do and this and that. And then it kind of came to, he's like, well, I'm going to go watch a band. And I was like, well, fine, I'll go too, I guess. So it was kind of like a love-hate relationship from the beginning, but it taught me to stand my ground and to really, I remember I showed up late one day. He'd asked me to do a lunch function, and I had a final at school, and I went to my head chef and I said, is it okay if I miss the practical? And he said, absolutely not, Julie. That's going to be a big part of your grade. You can't. So I went back to him and I said, unfortunately, I can't make it for the lunch, and I'm really sorry. And I walked in at 4:00, and it wasn't him. It was one of the other front of the house bartenders. And I said, what can I do for you, chef? Is there anything you need? And the bartender was like, we needed you here at noon. And I kind of just packed up my knife roll and I was like, I'm out of here. And I remember the front of the house manager actually chasing me. Shout out to Jason Canty, former owner of Annika Jan's. He came after me and he's like, please don't go. He didn't mean that. Like, we can work this out. So I went back in and was just like, I will not be talked to that way. So I think I've always just, had a lot of confidence in my worth and what I can do, and just either was like, you're either going to respect me and allow me to do my job or I'm going to move on.
So the people know not to fuck with you.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Love that energy. For any women in the restaurant business who are perhaps on the younger side, what advice would you give to them so that they can have the degree of success that you have had in terms of staving off those kinds of nasty behaviors?
Absolutely. I mean, just believe in yourself, know your worth. If you've got an idea, speak up. I mean, no bad idea is ever a bad idea. Like if you have an idea for a dish or a sauce and you just think it's out there, tell your chef, tell your sous chef. Like you guys can spitball off each other and really come up with something special. Like collaboration is king. And honestly, if somebody's making you feel uncomfortable, speak up about it. And if you're not getting that receptiveness from your manager and that support, then get yourself out of there because you do not deserve to be belittled or to feel less than. There are people like myself that really do care and really will, stand up for you and make change so that it is a fair environment to be in.
Yeah, that's been and thank you for that. That has been my biggest kind of evaluation of the Seacoast restaurant scene is just how many people do care. I mean, I've talked to a lot of great chef owners. Here's Will, David, Vargas, sure. Evan Mallet, Evan Hennessy. There's so many great people who are great mentors for the people in their kitchens and at other kitchens as well. It's a very uncompetitive environment for as many restaurants as there are in the area, which is really remarkable.
Yes. Yeah. It is really a good community feel for sure. I'm excited for Plates for Change next week too. Yep. That's always a good time. I'll be with David at Pharmacue at the end of the month.
Love Pharmacue.
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime I can attend these events, I'm more than happy to go. I love the community. Like I said, I can't get more deep rooted than dad from Portsmouth, mom from Elliott living in South Berwick. I mean, at some point, when I can afford it, I would love to come and actually have a 03801. Yep. Zip code to my name. Yeah. So goals, but definitely love this community and love supporting it. And especially what I do with Lighthouse, we focus on food insecurity, housing, and education. So anytime I can stand up and help with them too, I'm there.
Shout out to Lighthouse Credit Union. We love them. You are on the board of directors there. The husband, Darren.
Yes.
How did we go from hating him to getting married?
So I think it's kind of that boy pulling the pigtails on the playground, type situation. It's like, I think he cared so much that he wanted to push me to become a better chef. But also he moved down from Holton to Portland and worked under chefs in Portland where, it was that, mentality back in the day of like chefs would kick trash cans and he wasn't doing that kind of stuff. He was just more quiet. But I think we just I respect him. He's such a talented chef. He was over at the Union Bluff for 12 years as well. Doing really, his food is beautiful. Mine is comfort and, good portions and great flavors. And so is his, but it's funny. You would think it'd be the opposite with how much I try to focus on, being well put together. So I've learned a lot from him and now he is the head of production at the cannabis company. So he's very, mentally involved in the calculations of the formulas that we deal with through making our chocolate bars, our gummies, our trail bites, our ginger chews, all the unique products that we have there. So I'm really proud of that.
Right. So Emerald Elevation is the company that you guys founded together. Now you said earlier that you have been sober from alcohol for 6 years.
Yes.
Did cannabis slot in as the replacement or was that something you'd been using for a while?
Yeah. So definitely an OG to cannabis. It's definitely gotten stronger since, it's become legalized and all of that. But yes, no.
Well, it's not legal here in New Hampshire.
No, it's not. That is correct. But yeah, I love a gummy on a Saturday night. We specialize in either RSO, hash rosin products. So they're very well-rounded. I definitely do just kind of, again, with that high energy that I have. That's something that alcohol really did for me was just kind of, like take me down a notch. And, I find that with cannabis, just a small little gummy on a Saturday night, like I can relax, decompress. But nowadays I really focus on firing on all cylinders. So I really try to just eat healthy, exercise, keep my mind sharp because, I really want to know what I'm thinking is truly how I feel and what's coming out of my mind, from me and not necessarily a substance.
Gotcha. So that's why you gave up drinking.
Yeah.
Okay. So starting the cannabis company, it's one thing to just use and then to start your own company, which is really, I've never really heard of a company like this. I feel like so many cannabis companies just focus on more so on the cannabis, and you guys focus more on the, like, this is a high quality culinary process that has been infused into this cannabis product.
Oh, you nailed it. Do you want to come do some pop-ups with me? Because
sure. I love attention. So.
Oh my God, please. Yes, I do a lot of pop-ups all over the state of Maine. And basically kind of my soapbox pitch is that we are chefs by trade, and we combine the passion for culinary and cannabis together. So we actually take the strains that we are using as our extractions and we pair them with the products. So for instance, the ginger chews that we get, we use a hash rosin, but we make sure it has like a nice citrusy profile to pair with the ginger. We have a pina colada gummy, which is fantastic. Same thing. We want it to have a lot of kind of tropical notes in there. So, and the cheesecakes, we want to make sure that we've got a fun key lime cheesecake. Actually a real cheesecake. Like we freeze them, you buy them.
What?
So if you've ever been to Cure and you like the New York style cheesecake that is a staple on the dessert menu, you can find it in the state of Maine in a small little mason jar infused with.
This isn't like a cheesecake flavored gummy. This is a cheesecake.
No, this is a graham cracker crust with a water bath cooked cheesecake topped with either compote, toffee pearls. We've got 3 different flavors. I feel like I'm on my soapbox. We've got espresso, key lime, strawberry, and blueberry. And they're frozen. You thaw them. You can consume them within like 30 minutes. Put in your fridge for a week or put it back in your freezer for up to 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds so good.
Yeah, they're really tasty.
And you don't have a storefront?
No, we're just wholesale.
Okay.
We're off 236 in Elliott. We're actually behind the Dunkin' Donuts. It was an empty space for like 20 years, and we designed that kitchen, built it out, and we've got about 5 employees that work for us over there now.
What are you most proud of that you're doing right now?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I always joke and I say it's the 5 F's for me. It's family, food, fun, fashion, and fitness. It really all comes together for me in basically that order. I mean, my children are, and my husband, my family is my most important. I make sure that every morning I get up, I spend time with them, and on my days off, I'm very present with them. And then the food, like that's my passion. That's really where I find my creative spark. And then I love fashion. I love fun and fitness too. So I've got a great group of girlfriends, that, we brunch together, we beach together, but then exercise too. It's where I get all my stressies out.
Yeah. What are your fitness modalities?
Oh my goodness. Well, I got a Peloton at home that, nice. I've got a little Cody Rigsby on there who just, oh my God, guy. I'm a Cody girl. He tells me to shut up, queen, and to move faster. And I do. So I've got a Peloton. I love the works. It's my home away from home. Basically, I gotta go.
That's in Somersworth, right?
Yes.
That place I've been by it before. Looks insane from the outside. It is.
It's got everything. Yeah. It's got the outdoor pool, the indoor pool. It's got all the different classes. But yeah, no, basically I'm on a first name basis with the staff there. And then running outside, especially in South Berwick, we've got so many we've got Vaughn's Woods that I trail run through. But I really want to start getting into some rock climbing and stuff, and just those other things that are really going to bring me joy. And again, to really compensate for that burnout.
Mm. How do you do it? This is crazy.
I did post my kind of hand color coded calendar on Instagram the other day. Yeah. I try to make my Instagram really fun. So if you don't follow me there.
At Chef Julie Cutting.
Thank you. So it's really very organized and planned from, the moment I get up. I know where I need to be, what I need to do. My sister's my assistant as well. So I'll literally pull into a parking space and be like, put 3 hours on 1571. I don't even have the parking pass. I should, but wow. If you got a sister, why not?
Yeah.
So it's pretty strategic like that. I'm trying to get a little bit more, if I can't quite do the makeup before I leave the house, like have a little go bag. It's the little things, have snacks in the car to compensate for having a full lunch. So it's just those little tweaks that you got to do to be able to fit it all in. But honestly enjoy it and see it as an opportunity. And you're only as young as you are once, and life's supposed to be fun. So let's have some fun.
Hell yeah. Let's have some fun. Well done, Julie.
Thank you.
Cure, Emerald Elevation, Char soon to come later this year. Chef Julie Cutting, thank you so much for joining me today, for sharing your story, past, present, and future. And thank you on behalf of the residents of the Seacoast for all that you have done. You're doing amazing things, and I can't wait to see what is to come. I really appreciate you having me. Thank you so much. Again, that's Julie Cutting-Kelley of Cure, Emerald Elevation, and now Char. To stay up to date with everything that she is cooking up, you can follow her on Instagram at Chef Julie Cutting. Speaking of food, we're sold out for this Wednesday, but you can join the next Seacoast Stories Dinner Club on Friday, July 17th. We're headed back to Newmarket, and I want to make this event even bigger than this Wednesday's, which is already on track to be our largest. To join us in Newmarket, you can book your seat at the table by visiting the dinner link in the show notes. Thank you all for listening, for all your support. As always, I will talk to you all again on Thursday with a special Season 5 launch bonus week episode. But until then, please do stop me around town if you see me. I would love to hear your story.